Complex economic and social systems were created during the Neolithic Revolution. The practice of farming was a new way of life, and it greatly changed the way life was lived economically and socially. Agriculture was not discovered at the same time or in the same region. Each area discovered it independently. Most likely, agricultural villages were likely first created in the lands of the Mediterranean. Agriculture was created after this in the Andes, Mesoamerica, Papua New Guinea, Yellow River Valley, Indus River Valley, and finally Mesopotamia. Additionally, in these specific areas, crops that thrived in the environment were placed in the ground and watched as they sprouted up to form plants. This way, a specific area planted crops that would be ideal for that environment. For example, in New Guinea, bananas, yams, taro, and sugarcane were being grown 8,000 to 9,000 years ago. Also, in southern Brazil, manioc was being domesticated. Also, people began to domesticate animals that were available in their new permanent settlements. Pastoralism was a new form of agriculture that focused on raising animals and allowing them to graze the land. However, in Afro-Eurasian grasslands, overgrazing by pastoralists led to erosion because of the dryness of the soil and the lack of plants living in it. This affected society economically because since farmers had no crops or animals, they had no resources to sell to others. Also, the biodiversity of the wildlife was affected by pastoralism. Agricultural communities were forced to work cooperatively in order to clear the land and create water control systems so that they could produce crops. They were no longer able to work separately like they used to in the hunter-gatherer societies. Therefore, societies were transformed because now individuals were not independent when it came to getting the resources necessary for survival.
Societies were greatly transformed by agriculture and pastoralism. One huge way that they impacted humans was that they gave a more vast and reliable food supply. In the past, foraging societies had little food to choose from, and it was difficult to be sure whether or not food would be available at all times. However, agriculture and pastoralism changed that. The increase in food caused even more changes to occur. The population increased greatly, humans were able to begin specializing in labor, and new social classes were created. The new social classes included warriors, artisans, and elites. These were able to be developed because people were not only tied down to looking for food to survive, they were able to spend their time learning new skills. The elite group of the social hierarchy was also created. There was more distinction between rich and poor because success with agriculture and other ways of becoming wealthy were even more variable. Technological innovations cased even more improvement of agricultural trade and transportation. Two important innovations were pottery and wheels. Pottery made storage easier, and wheels were a catalyst in trade because it made transportation of goods easier and faster. Wheels could also be used to move water, spin string, and aid vehicles for invasion. Patriarchal societies began to form at this time as well. Males began to have dominance over the women in the society. It is thought that this began to happen during the Neolithic era because men were the ones more physically able to work in the fields. Also, population growth means that the women are having more children and must focus on that.